Hello and welcome back to Duskers. This is part 4. The audio was cutting out a bit in the previous part, so I'm going to attempt to manually fix the audio for this part. First thing we're going to do in this part is we are going to attach the reroute power upgrade, which will give us a bit more control over our life. We are also going to attach a probe to drone number 1. My dog has seen a dog out the window. We shall ignore that for now. We are going to check the modification screen so I can show that probe has stealth that I'm going to immediately affix onto it because that makes such a difference. Let's move. We are going to go to the space station class C, the Sussman station. It has one infestation type. Let's hope it isn't one of the horrible ones. Let's go. Another communication from this one. Fixed the food replicator on B-Wing. Just a hiccup in the communicator, firing crazy signals to the molecular assemblers. No problem now though. Made myself up an amazing slice of lemon meringue before. Little fellas are firing all cylinders again. Doubt anyone will complain. As fine as that pie. I'll fire a report out to Leyland when I get back up to engineering. Let them know their babies are all good. Linking with theory index grey goo, molecular assemblers reference requires further investigation. Recommended course of action: gather further log data about molecular assemblers from space stations or fuel depots. Well, this is interesting. This grey goo is a term usually used to refer to nanotechnology, nanobots, swarms, stuff like that. And that fits in with molecular assemblers. It's interesting that that's on this one, the pleasure part of all places. As you can see, it is 193 years old. Now, this is interesting. This is significantly more than the 20-somethings about the previous system. But let's have a look. We've immediately got a scan on that room there where the fuel is. I'm going to dock at A4. Inconclusive. Okay. So, I'm going to drop the probe. Open A1 so the probe goes through. The probe performs detailed scans of every room it enters. Oh, strange. Because the drone has stealth, it's more a sanity feature than anything, because it means we don't have to repeatedly replace the drones when they inevitably get destroyed for various reasons. You can see, because this place is a station, it is in a lot of ways. Very docking port heavy. These are... You know what, I'm actually gonna... No. I'm gonna take in one open. In one. I'm gonna get two out of one. Do this. The fun thing about probes is using probes and the remote power function, you can get a good scan of the ship before you even step foot in it. So let's get D15 opened. You can see there is a vent in room 8. We turned off vent interactions. Door 15 refused to close there. That means one thing. There is now an enemy either in room 8 or room 2. I am going to open A2. Just because we got a detailed scan of room 8 and saw there was nothing in there. That means that if it was moving into room 8, it is now no longer in room 8. Now you see, that is part of the problem I was going to say. Because the probes have stealth, we have no idea whether there's an enemy in the room. And because we have no idea whether there's an enemy in the room, we have no idea whether the room the probe is in is safe. However, we do know that the most likely type of enemy in this place is the most annoying one. The nanobots. Purely on the name of the grey goo being brought up in the log. Now, I'm not sure if that actually has any relevance to the enemy type in the station, but I'm not sure I want to find out at the moment. So we're going to open D22. Going to remote R2 turn it off, remote R5. Okay, we got power on most of the rooms there. We're going to close D19. We're going to open D20. Wait till it comes back out, then close it back up again. Put D21. There is a defense system in there, and I can probably utilize it. Okay, so we're going to reroute power out of R7. Wait, no. It's R5 minus R7? No, that's not a 5, that's a 4. There we go. We've powered down room 7, and there is an extra piece of power in the generator now. So now we are going to power up room. No, that's an E. Room 10. We're going to dock at A6. We're going to dock at A5. Now you see, one thing I'm really not enjoying right now is the fact that these motion sensors are being inconclusive. We can see that this room, however, is in fact clear. We can utilise this. As long as we have one internal room inside of the station that we can scan, we can check the entire ship for threats, provided that the threats move. We have seen that they move because one of the doors refused to close. And either we flushed it out the airlock, or it is in room 2 right now. As much as I want to play with you right now, dog, I'm in the middle of something. Admit. This means we have one method available to us right now, and that is using room number 5, where the probe currently is, to check if there are enemies in room 2. Now, judging by how quickly the probe is moving, and how quickly most of the enemies move, it is highly unlikely there is an enemy in room 2. However, I don't want to say anything for sure. But generally, if the probe can move between there in that time, and nothing has showed up on the motion sensor yet, that means we should be good. However, the annoying thing is I have to use room 5 because it is connected to most of the ship. That means what? The fact that room 5 is connected to most of the ship means that it is easiest to use room 5 as a go-between for the rest of the rooms to check if there are enemies in any of the other rooms. So, to that notion, I'm going to wait for the probe to go back into room 5, then I'm going to close door 22. Then I'm going to open door 20 and see if there is a threat. We appear to be clear on that front. So I'm going to close door 20, open door 21 rather, and wait further still. Now, as I said previously, waiting is never usually a good idea. There we go. I'm actually going to wait for that to go back into room 10. Because so long as that is in room 10, then we can utilise number 3. 8. The fact that it only killed one enemy means a very good thing. Now you see, the nanobots, they count as many enemies at the same time. So in a defense system, right, we're leaving now. Actually, the inability to close doors is the last thing I want to deal with right now. So I'm going to gather what's in this room. We checked room number 2, which I'm actually going to open up, potentially to my dismay. Can't pick up probes back up. I shouldn't be using drone number 3 for this. dock at A4. I'm going to utilise the guy with... This guy's got a broken speed boost. He's useful for scrap, I guess. Two jump fuel. Well, because I really don't fancy dealing with the issues here, and there is only one more scrap left in the place. You know what though? Dock at A1. I didn't leave it open for very long, and I'm fairly sure motion works on it. Yeah. Like I said, waiting is never a good idea. However, just out of principle, oh yeah. I really shouldn't be doing that. Oh well. Nope. Airlock 3 just stopped responding. That's still docking it though. You can dock it, but you can't do much. Well, so what you saw there was a classic case of eating my words, which involved me eating my words. I did pretty much immediately after I said waiting is a bad idea. The close command stopped responding, and I did bring this up several times prior to that. This happens on quite a few missions if you hang around. It's to stop you waiting too long. I disagree with it, but I also see its point, so I put up with it. But we got all of the scrap and the fuel on the station, as well as the drone, which means that we are actually in a very good place right now. Got 2 jump fuel, which is actually really good. Given assumed advances in nanotechnology, molecular assemblers pose a definitive existential risk. If assemblers can create other assemblers, self-replicate, it's easy to see how quickly rogue or intended processes could transform matter at an exponential rate. It follows that such a process could be detrimental to humans directly if we ourselves were deemed an acceptable source of material, or indirectly if anything which we rely upon was deemed an acceptable source of material. One of the big issues with nanotechnology in sci-fi situations is that it usually ends up going horribly wrong. There was an episode of Doctor Who in the latest season where a colony on a planet where the nanobots that made the entire thing went a bit mental trying to keep everyone happy and killed everyone in the process. That's such a typical sci-fi story that I don't even mind spoiling that, despite how recent it was, because it's a very cliche nanobot trope. The exact details of the episodes are actually quite interesting, the way they handle it, so I won't go into that. But it is a very interesting prospect to bear in mind. I've been recording for about 20 minutes. I'm going to call this the rough episode time. I'm probably going to do one derelict of that length per episode. So I'll see you next time.